Here's one that, yeah, it's going to be tough for you guys to get. And I apologize for kind of routinely showing you guys watches that are difficult to get. It's not the majority of the watches I show you, but oftentimes I have shown you watches that are either extremely difficult to get or just nearly impossible. That might be the case with this guy here, and even more freakishly odd with this particular one is a few years ago after it came out, because it was a relatively affordable watch already at only like $500 is on the used market. You could pick these things up for like $200, $250, and now fast forward to today, and you're lucky if you see one pop up for like $500 on eBay, maybe even more. And there's a couple of different colorways, but I really don't think there was a ton of them. And this is the Helson Squadron. And before I get too in-depth with this thing, I have to say big thanks to my buddy Todd, aka Colorado Possum. Yeah, I got some smudges on the crystal on this thing. For hooking me up with this watch, because it was just bad timing with my budget and everything like that, and he didn't want me to miss the opportunity. So he did a solid. He picked it up off eBay and sent it to me. So I'm gonna take care of you, brother, like one of these days. He also gave me this Hamilton, so you can kind of see a theme here. And he gave me this Hamilton not that long ago either, really, and then this Helson more recently. So I definitely owe Todd solid owe him. So let's get into this thing. Size and just the basic stuff that I normally do. So case width on this is 42.2 millimeter. The lug to lug is a 48. Check out that case. This thing is wild. I absolutely love this. The thickness, 11.8 millimeter. You can see a double dome sapphire crystal up top. 22 millimeter lug opening. And I believe this is the strap it came with. Has a Helson buckle and everything. And on the back side, it says leather. I keep doing it the wrong way. Genuine leather Italian. Genuine Italian leather. Something like that. And it feels like a really nice strap. So, but at 22 millimeter, you know, there's a lot of different straps that I could source for this. This one just works, in my opinion, so I'm going to keep it on there. You have a 7 millimeter signed screw-down crown, and it should have a 100-meter water depth rating on there. If we look at the case back, there is some information. There's number 27, but I don't know how many they made. Because really, there's scarce information online. And if you even go to the Helson website, this isn't even on there anymore. Quite frankly, I'm not even sure if Helson's selling watches. Same thing with Armida. Like, if you go look at their watches for sale, there's only a couple left on their websites, sadly, because they're both great brands. They're great watches. The movement, a decorated or elaborate grade ETA 2824. So you can see the rotor actually has a couple little holes drilled in it. I have not seen that on a standard ETA, so I don't know if that's a spec'd out rotor they did. So it has a couple of reliefs in it, so you can kind of see a little bit more of the bridge work and everything. And like I said, a few different colorways. This one's black. I noticed there's a gray, there's a really dark blue, and then the black. I'm not sure if there was any other colors available, but this one is perfect in my opinion. Minimal text on the dial. You can see their Helson Squadron automatic. And then those interesting font for the numbers that are, you can see they're kind of poofy. It's a pretty thick printing of Lume on there. Nice cathedral handset and very wide dial. In fact, we're so used to dive watches that, I mean, this dial is, I don't know, around 36 millimeter or something like that. So really wide dial versus like, I don't know, give me a dive watch. Is there a dive watch around here? Can I get a dive watch, please? Here we go. Dive style watch anyway, just so you have a reference point. I mean, you can see size-wise compared to like a Seiko SKX style watch, the divers just kind of like reduce their overall appearance versus non-divers. You know, like I've been kind of gravitating towards non-divers and chronographs. Here's a Russian watch that I recently picked up. And then like I showed you, even with that Hamilton, here's just a miscellaneous San Martin. They just present differently. And this one has more of a traditional bezel going around it, even though it's not a spinny dive bezel. Whereas on this Helson, that bezel, it's there, but it's not, you know, dominant face of the watch. It's kind of more on the outer perimeter. And then you have that crystal going almost right to the edge. Slight riot, because it's angled, leading down to that dial. Let's pop it on my 7 1/4 inch wrist so you can see what that looks like. So there you go. Love that case shape. Been wearing this quite a bit. And yeah, it presents a little bit larger on wrist. It's just that dial. But as we get older, at least in my case, these larger dials and these big numbers and not having a little reduced date that I can't hardly read, this thing's super legible. It's super easy to read, regardless of, you know, how my vision is at that moment. And it works. It's even more legible than this Hamilton, and the Hamilton's pretty dang good. So I like the more legible watches. I mean, even this guy here, the bold colors with the contrast of the lighter dial makes it more legible. This guy here, not super easy to read in some lights, but still pretty fun, so I went ahead and went with it anyway. Now let's zap this thing with the UV light and turn off the studio lights, because Helson was also known for their divers, and they had incredible lume, and this thing also was bathed with incredible lume. Here it is next to the Hamilton, clearly outperforming it, and the Hamilton is pretty good too, but the Helson Squadron just is beast mode with the lume. So again, big thanks to my buddy Todd for hooking me up with this thing. And if you guys are looking for one of these Helson Squadrons, I wish you all the luck. They don't pop up very often. So save the search. However, you know, you can save the search on eBay or wherever you're looking. And if one pops up, snag it. I'll see you guys on the next vid.